Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to present Space Management Part 4 that includes space regainers. And the contents include Introduction, Classification, AAPD Guideline 2019 for space regainers, fixed and removable space regainers, maintenance and recall, brief about other method of gaining space and the references. Now, starting with the introduction, the transition from mixed dentition to a permanent one is seldom accurate. The hurt less being space loss, tooth size, arch length discrepancy, early exfoliation of primary teeth, or premature eruption of the permanent teeth. When the usual sequence of the eruption of the permanent teeth does not occur, it must warn the clinician of monitoring the arches and intervening with the extraction, space maintainer, or the space regainer. A pediatric dentist, often the first person that encounter the effects of premature loss of the deciduous teeth. Thus, it is essential on the part of the pediatric dentist to take early measure in preventing and profound effect on the future developing dentition, psychology, and the personality of the child. Now, what is space regainer? So, they are the devices that are used to move the desired tooth in the mesial or the distal direction to regain the lost space. And the goal of the space regaining intervention is the recovery of the lost arch width and the perimeter and or improve the eruptive position of the succedaneous teeth. Now the types of the space regainer, they are divided into fixed and the removable space regainer. Fixed space regainers include pendulum appliance, Gerber space regainer, lip bumper, Hode's lingual arch, anterior space regainer, and Gerber space regainer, and others. And the removable space regainers include split saddle or split block space regainer, slingshot, and free and loop space regainer. The Space Regainer AAPD Guideline 2019, in that general consideration and principle of the management, they were given primary teeth with the interproximal caries or any ectopically erupting teeth, alteration in the sequence of the eruption, ankylosis of the primary teeth, dental impaction, abnormal dental morphology, or any transposition of the teeth, any congenitally missing teeth, or abnormal resorption of the primary root of teeth, or premature or delayed eruption, or a loss of primary molar without proper space management. The degree to which the space is affected, that include arch or depend on the arch, site in the arch, or time elapsed since the tooth loss, that is different in the maxillary arch and in the mandibular arch. The quantity and the incidence of the space loss are depend upon which the adjacent teeth are present in the dental arch and the status. The amount of the crowding or a spacing in the dental arch will determine the consequences of the space loss. The treatment consideration include, if space regaining is planned, a comprehensive analysis should be completed prior to any treatment decision, and some factors that should be considered include dentofacial development, age at the time of the tooth loss, tooth that has been lost, space available in the arch, and space needed in the arch. And the treatment objective is the recovery of the lost arch width and the perimeter and or improve eruptive position of the succedaneous tooth. The space regained should be maintained until the adjacent permanent teeth have erupted completely and or until a subsequent comprehensive orthodontic treatment plan is initiated. Now, starting with the pendulum appliance, which is fixed regainer, it is used mainly to regain the space in case of mesial drift of the upper first molar due to early loss of the primary molar. Hilger in 1992 reported a pendulum appliance that can lead to favorable mesiobuccal rotation as well as bodily movement of the first molar, and they incorporated U-loop in the spring. This could be of use to improve the class 1 molar relationship and to yield the additional space. Uh, he also proposed a variation in this design in 1992. They include a lingual sheet on the molar band that allow the intraoral adjustment of the spring, and also Nance holding arch and expansion screw into that. Nappy M et al. In 2040, he presented a new pendulum variant using a mini screw, which is known as Pendulis, and it followed the original concept, but the dental support is replaced by a single palatal mini screw to which the device is fixed by the metal welded cap, which can be easily positioned and removed by the practitioner. Now, the pendulum appliance uses a pallet as an anchorage unit to distalizes the first molar. It consists of the acrylic plate that retained by clasp that is on the first premolar, and the distal arm of or the spring are constructed using 0.6 mm stainless steel wire. It consists of the closed helix and the U-loop. The U-loop are incorporated mesial to the molar so that it allow for adjustment of the axial inclination during the distalization. And initial activation is of about 60 degree to 70 degree will generate 250 gram of force per side. The indication of the pendulum appliance is first phase of orthodontic treatment for unilateral or bilateral distalization of the first molar for correction of class 2 molar relationship, space regaining in case of mesial rift of the upper first molar due to early loss of the primary molar, or a non-extraction treatment of mild to moderate crowding. And the advantage of the pendulum appliance is it is less dependent on the patient compliance. It is easy to fabricate and allow correction of minor transverse and the vertical molar position by adjustment of the spring, and it is well accepted by the patient. Now, one case report on the unilateral spring space regainer, a smart way to drive molar distally by Roy A. et al. In 2013. This unilateral spring space regainer has the same principle as a pendulum, but as a distalizing force are apply parallel to the posterior dental arch, the pendular movement is avoided, thereby precluding the palatinization of the maxillary molar. Here they fabricated a spring and the appliance. First they placed the separator on the mesial and the distal contact of the first permanent maxillary molar and on contralateral canine and premolar. After that, the molar to be distalized is bended and the lingual sheath is welded, and after that they taken an impression, and after that they disinfected the impression, and the spring then they fabricate about which is about 10 mm in length, and one end of the wire was then bent in such a way that it can be tucked inside the lingual sheath. Here uh, the spring was then positioned in the model, that is at the level of 5 to 6 mm apical to the center of resistance of the molar, and the nance button was fabricated using a self-cure acrylic that covers the large portion of the palate, but leaving the body of the spring uncovered to allow the activation. The modified nance button with the embedded spring was then removed from the cast and finished and polished. To activate this appliance, the spring should be open about 3 to 4 mm outside the mouth, which generate about 150 gram of force, and then it is inserted into the palatal sheath. Now one video about the pendulum appliance.
A distalizing appliance such as a Pindex, Penguin, or Distal Jet is a fixed appliance that rests along the roof of your mouth and is attached with bands to the back molars. It is used for a Class 2 malocclusion, an orthodontic problem in which the lower teeth are too far behind the upper teeth. All distalizers have a common function, however, not all distalizers perform exactly the same. A Pindex is used to expand the upper arch while simultaneously moving the molars further towards the back of the mouth. A Pindex is activated by using a key which should be turned on the schedule your orthodontist prescribes to expand the appliance. This creates space for the proper alignment of the upper teeth. In many cases, this movement can create a gap between the two front teeth. The gap will close after expansion is completed. A Distal Jet and a Penguin are also used to correct a Class 2 problem. Both also sit on the palate of the mouth and are banded to the rear molars.
Now the Herber space regainer. It is a reciprocal active space regainer that is used in the mandibular arch after the eruption of the first premolar into the oral cavity, and it is also known as open coil space regainer. The construction steps of the appliance include: a molar band is fitted first onto the first permanent molar, and the molar tube after that is shoulder or a spot welded in the horizontal position both buccally and the lingually to the band, and after that an impression is made. A stainless steel wire slightly smaller than the tube side is selected and it is bent in a U shape. After that, the base of the U should contain a reverse band to contact the distal surface of the first premolar, and the wire comes out of the tube towards the premolar at a point below the greatest convexity of the first premolar, and the space coil spring is selected and it is cut about 2 to 3 mm longer than the anterior stop to the molar tube, and the band is cemented with the coil spring that is compressed. Now, lip bumper. It is used where bilateral movement are desired. It consists of a heavy labial arch wire over which an acrylic flange is prepared in the anterior region such that it does not contact the lower anterior. It is used to relieve the lip pressure, and this pressure can be utilized. This pressure can be used to distalize molar by incorporating loops in the arch wire just before it enters the buccal tube, or utilizing the coil spring. The lip bumper appliance in the mandibular arch for gaining space or for the distalization of the molar. Its counterpart in the maxillary arch is known as Denholz appliance. First, the molar bands are prepared on the permanent first molar, and molar tubes are welded on the buccal side of the each molar band, and the labial arch wire is then engaged in both the buccal tube, and acrylic button is prepared on the labial vestibule. Now, the Hodge lingual arch type of beginner. It is given by Hitchcock in 1974. He introduced a modification of the lingual arch, that is Hodge's lingual arch with the U-loops, which is used for moving the molar distally. The indication of Hodge's lingual arch that in situation where the permanent tooth move mesially rather than distal movement of mesial teeth, and also in cases where the sufficient space is present for the eruption of permanent second molar. The lingual arch provides the compound anchorage from all the other teeth which the lingual arch touches, and the horizontal spur can also be shouldered perpendicular to the arch wire contacting the distal surface of the premolar or the canine that compounds the anchorage additionally. The loop on the active side is adjusted periodically once a month. Now, one article on effects of the lip bumper therapy on the mandibular arch dimension of the children and the adults in a systematic review, and they concluded that increase in the arch perimeter and the width was attributed to the proclination of the incisor, buccalization of the deciduous molar and the premolar area, and the distal inclination of the molar. However, there was an increased chances of impaction and the ectopic eruption of the permanent second molar after the treatment with the lip bumper. Now, combined therapy with the pendulum and the lingual arch appliances in the early mixed dentition by Gero K. et al. They found that in the early treatment group of the maxillary, in the early treatment group, the maxillary molar were distalized by the pendulum appliance by the mean distance of about 4.0 plus or minus 1.46 mm, that result in the distal tipping and also result in the also incisor were moved reciprocally by about 1.08 to 1.06 mm to anterior and protruded also. In the comparison group, the molar distalization and molar tip were less pronounced, while the mesial movement of incisor was comparably high in this group. So they concluded that with the appropriate indication, the combined therapy with the two compliance independent appliance described can be recommended for gaining sagittal arch length in the early mixed dentition. Now the anterior space regainer. For gaining For regaining the space in the anterior region, two standard labial tubes are selected, and the enamel of the labial surface of right central and the left lateral incisor is etched with the 35% phosphoric acid. The labial tube is individually bonded to each abutment tooth, and when the composite is polymerized, a piece of round wire is introduced into the lateral incisor tube. The wire is then inserted into the open coil spring, which is previously selected, and passed through the labial tube of the central incisor. And distal band is made of about 2 mm distal to the tube. 3 weeks later, the wires change, leaving the coil spring only for the retention, and after that an acrylic contact is fixed over the wire and the coil spring. Now, one case report on the space regaining with limited orthodontic intervention. Here, the photograph shows the mandibular arch, in which mandibular right posterior quadrant shows the presence of the rotated first premolar, a distal drifting of the first premolar and the canine, and the mesial tilting of the first permanent molar that leading to the space closer, thus it obstructing the path of the eruption of the second premolar. Here in the IOPA, on the radiographic examination, it revealed that severe space loss is there with the obstruction of the path of eruption of the second premolar. This is the study model of that, and they decided they decided the appliance, and after that they place a nitrile wire into the arch. After that, placement of the open coil spring is done after the initial alignment, and after some space regain, after the 3 week of the follow-up, they place the 3 power chain for the additional space regaining. And this is the radiograph after the treatment that shows the amount of the space regain for the eruption of the second premolar. And after that, into the follow-up visit, they given a band and loop space maintainer, and this is the post-operative radiograph after the follow-up that shows the proper eruption of the second premolar. Now the Gerber space regainer. This type of appliance may be fabricated directly in the mouth, and it requires no laboratory work. For fabricating this, a band is prepared for the abutment tooth and fitted, and a U-loop is also prepared. The wire U assembly is placed in the molar tube, and next to the band, weldable tube stops are soldered onto the wire portion, and opal coil spring section are cut and fit over the wire between the stops and the end of the U-tube. Load springs, tie floss, and or the still ligature through the eyelet over the U-loop wire to hold the store forces in the compressed spring. After that, compress the spring so it should easily fit in the edentulous space that is present, and cement the assembly in this place. After cementation, cut the ligature wire that is tied and remove to activate the regainer. Now, a comparative three-dimensional finite element study of two space regainer in the mixed dentition stage. The objective of this study was to compare the stress distribution and displacement that resulted from the use of Gerber space regainer and the sagittal distalizer using three-dimensional finite element analysis. In material and method, three-dimensional simulated models of appliance were developed using a software, and the force applied by two appliances were 3 Newton and 15 Newton, that is tipping and the bodily respectively, and displacement and stress on the compact and the cancellous bone, periodontal ligament, crowns of mandibular first and second permanent molar, and deciduous canine were calculated. This is the Gerber space regainer and the sagittal molar distalizer that they were fabricated. And result shows that Gerber space regainer showed greater displacement than that produced by the sagittal distalizer at the first permanent molar. However, the displacement was less at the other tested point when compared to that delivered by the sagittal distalizer, and the stress created by the Gerber appliance were higher in the crown and the PDL of the deciduous canine than the crown of the first permanent molar crown. Now the King appliance that was given by King in 1977. He described an appliance for regaining of space in the both maxillary and the mandibular arch. And this appliance unit for the mandibular arch is basically a fixed lingual arch with the bands that are fitted on the first deciduous permanent molar on the treatment side and the first permanent molar on the opposite side. Then the edgewise bracket is spot welded to the buccal surface of the primary molar band, and the completed anchorage unit is cemented in the place. Then the open coil spring is introduced into the buccal tube. The anchorage unit must be modified in case of the maxillary arch. About a millimeter a month is satisfactory progress in the repositioning of the first molar. When the class 1 or a cusp to cusp molar relationship is achieved, a conventional space maintaining appliance should be given. Now the Jaffe's appliance that is used for the minor tooth movement, which was described in 1963 by Jaffe. It is useful when the presence of any ankylosed tooth, early loss of the deciduous molar, or an extraction resulting filling of adjacent segment into the proximal dental area. The movement is obtained by the use of the light spring pressure against the sliding section or arch, and the appliance consists of the buccal and the lingual arm of the molar band and the sliding arch to move the desired tooth or the teeth. Now the sliding loop regainer. It is recommended in cases where the space loss occurred due to premature loss of the mandibular second primary molar, when both the first molar and the first premolar have tipped into the available space. The setup applies a constant force to move the first premolar mesially and with some reciprocal distal movement that move the permanent molar distally. For fabrication of this appliance, one band on the permanent molar and two 0.036-inch buccal tube are welded on the molar tube, and a loop similar to the Bandel loop is fabricated by stainless steel wire. After that, an open coil spring of about 2 mm in excess of the space to be regained is cut and inserted into the prepared loop. The loop and coil spring component is placed and the loop is slid into the buccal tube, and the occlusal stop is then shouldered onto the loop and placed in contact with the occlusal surface of the premolar. Now the new design space regainers, a lingual arch crossbow and double banded space regainer by Chalaka et al. In 2012. The lingual arch crossbow can be used on the lower arch if the first premolar erupts prior to the canine and need to be distalized to prevent it from encroaching into the canine space. And double bonded space regainer may be used in conventional cases of the interdental space loss. Here, this OPG of the mandibular arch shows that all the permanent incisors are present with the first molars and the primary right first molar, primary left second molar, and the left premolar. Here in the second IOPA, because of the exfoliation of the primary canine, mesial migration of the left first premolar, limiting the canine space to just about 3 mm. So they made a lingual arch space maintainer was constructed to prevent the mesial migration of that first permanent molar. Then the molar tubes are welded onto the molar bands on the lingual arch, and then about 0.9 mm width of the stainless steel wire curved and a curved and angle medially forward with its free end passing posteriorly into the open coil spring. Then the primary second left molar was extracted, and then the appliance was cemented into the arch. After 5 months, the space gain mesial to the first left premolar was about 4 mm. That is previously present, that was about 3 mm. So improving the canine space of about 7 mm is there. Now in maxillary arch, this photograph shows mesially migrated 2-6 onto the space of the exfoliated 6-5. So they prepare a space regainer by this component that include molar band with the band open coil spring. They The permanent first molar was banded with the molar tube, and the primary first molar was also banded and shoulder, and the open coil is then inserted into the buccal tube. And after the follow-up, the maxillary arch shows the space, showing this space regainer on the 2-6 and the 6-4 after the distalization. Advantage of the double-banded space regainer over the conventionally used Gerber space regainer is that here the permanent first molar and the primary first molar were banded for space regaining, and the wire were shouldered to pass paralleling the molar tube, and there was no observable tipping of the permanent first molar. But in Gerber space regainer, one of the two teeth is banded, allowing the possibility for the tipping of the tooth. Now starting with the removable space regainer, the Goodall described the type of the space regainer that includes split block space regainer, fixed loop spring space regainer, slingshot, and the other removable space regainer. Now, split block space regainer, which is also known as split saddle space regainer. It consists of the dumbbell constructed with the stainless steel wire, and the acrylic plate is split with the disc to form the activator portion, and the unilateral type used for the adult should not be used in the child's mouth, however, because of the risk of the loss of the swallowing. Now the fixed loop spring space regainer, it differ from the other space regainer design in the form of the spring activation. The appliance resists the breakage by providing and provide the satisfactory method of moving the molar distally. The mesial portion of the spring loop is embedded in the resin, and it is passed out through the edentulous space, and the portion of the wire should contact the distal surface of the tooth, which is mesial to the space, and thus prevent the distal movement of the tooth. The loop is then formed, and the wire is returned back to the contact on the mesial surface of the first permanent molar. The retention of this appliance is gained by the use of the wire glass that is given. And after the desired movement of the permanent molar has been attained, the appliance may be used as a space maintainer by shouldering the activator portion of the spring to guide wire in its passive position, or by filling this edentulous region with the additional resin. As the molar move distally, the appliance become more fragile, so it is then possible to tie a distal portion forward with a piece of the dental floss or the stainless steel ligature to permit the addition of the acrylic posteriorly. And in this way, the appliance is reactivated without adjustment of the spring. Now the slingshot space regainer. The slingshot space regainer distalizes the molar with the wire elastic holder with the hooks. It is termed as slingshot appliance because as the forces to distalize the tooth were produced by elastic, which was stretched on the middle of the lingual and the buccal surface of the molar to be moved. Here, when the hook is placed too far distally, It will impinge on the soft tissue. Acrylic in the saddle area has been relieved so that about 1 mm about 1 mm away from the permanent, so it is about 1 mm away from the permanent molar. The distalizing force is produced by the elastic that are engaged in these hooks that is stretched on the molar to be moved, and this elastic can be changed once each day. Now the modified aesthetic multifunctional orthodontic appliance by Srilatha Keti et al. Here, a 9-year-old girl child reported to the Department of Periodontics and Preventive Dentistry with the chief complaint of the decayed teeth in the lower right quadrant, and the clinical appearance indicate extensively decayed 8485 and clinically missing 75. Here, on the radiographic examination that revealed the space loss in the region of the 75 and the 84, and 85 indicate for the extraction. The clinical situation requires space maintainer on the right side and a space regainer on the left side, and there was also a need to restore the functional capacity as the teeth were missing bilaterally. Hence, modified space maintainer was planned, which also had a slingshot space regainer on the left side. So, this is the pre and post images with the appliance in the position, and this is the modified appliance in the position having the slingshot in the region of the 7.5 and the space maintainer in the region of the 8.4 and the 8.5. And after that, elastic were engaged in the hooks of the slingshot on the left side, which brought about the distalization of the permanent molar. Now the C space regainer, to overcome the drawback of the incisor flaring that was caused by equal and the opposite mesial force exerted by the various intraoral method of molar distalization. A removable appliance that is known as C space regainer was introduced by Chung, Park and Co. In 2000, which is used to achieve bodily movement without any significant incisor flaring, and can be used to intrude the teeth as well as to move them distally or sagittally in cases with the mild arch-length discrepancy that treated by extraction of the second or the third molar, and in the open bite cases. It consists of the labial framework and the acrylic splint. The labial framework is formed from the 0.036 inch stainless steel wire, which extend from the buccal molar tube of one side to the another side, and it also incorporate a closed helix in the canine region and the open coil spring shoulder immediately distal to the helix. The patient should be checked every 3 weeks for the constant application of the coil spring pressure, and when reactivation is required, the helix is squeezed with the heavy wire or 3-prong plier, moving the labial wire extension and the open coil spring distally. Now the Hawley's appliance with the jack screw. It is a removable appliance that incorporates the expansion screw into the space. It offers best control of any removable appliance when correction of rotation is not needed. Patient or a parent. Now the Hawley's appliance with the jack screw. It is a removable appliance that incorporates an expansion screw. It offers the best control of any removable appliance when the correction of rotation is not needed, and a patient or a parent is instructed to open the jack screw 1/4 turn, that is 0.25 mm, twice a day, and a space is opened by expanding the plates anteroposteriorly. The Hawley's appliance with the palatal spring. It is made up of 0.5 mm stainless steel wire, and the active arm of the palatal spring is placed mesial to the permanent molar to be distalized, and the activation is about 2 mm by opening the spring is needed. The spring is activated approximately 2 mm to produce 1 mm of the movement per month. Now the modified canine retractor, a new space regainer by Verma J et al. In 2016. They fabricate a regainer uh, in which a suitable pre-formed stainless steel band was selected first, and after a bending of the abutment tooth, the alginate impression were made and models were prepared, and the wire component of the space regainer comprises of the canine retractor or a U-loop, and the U-loop or a canine retractor should be positioned a little away from the band so to avoid hitting while shouldering procedure. Here in the first photograph, it shows the distal migration of the 3-4 in place of the grossly decayed 7-5, and the radiograph shows the impacted 3-5 because of the loss of the space resulting from the distal tipping of the 3-4. So they made the modified canine retractor that is shoulder onto the molar band. After that, they cemented into the oral cavity, and this is the clinical view after the 6 month of the after the 6 month follow up, and this is the mid treatment IOPA with the appliance in place that shows the proper eruption of the tooth, and this is the post operative view. The advantages and limitation of this appliance is, the advantages include it is simple and easy to fabricate. It is cost effective, fixed, so minimal requirement of the patient cooperation is needed, and it serves a dual purpose of space regainer as well as space maintainer. And the limitation of this include multiple impaction or unerupted teeth resulting from a severe space loss require comprehensive analysis and a fixed orthodontic treatment. And if the permanent first molar is to be distalized, extraoral force with the headgear may be considered. Now the maintenance and the recall. If the appliance is of a removable type, then the periodic checking should be done to evaluate whether the patient is wearing or not, or using or not, or any for any distortion or a breakage or irritation of the soft tissue. Or if the teeth are emerging underneath the appliance, then a portion of acrylic is cut off to give way for the teeth to erupt into the position. Or in case of the fixed appliance, the appliance should be checked for any breakage at the shoulder joint or the band material, and it also check whether the appliance is loose due to dissolution of cement, or the appliance is removed every 6 months or a 1 year depending on the situation, and the abutment tooth is checked for any caries or decalcification. Polishing of the abutment is done, that followed by fluoride application, and then the appliance is re-cemented in the position. Brief about the other method of the gaining space that include proximal stripping, expansion, extraction, distalization, derotation of the posteriors, uprightening of the molar, and proclination of the anterior. The proximal stripping is also known as slenderization, disking, and the proximal slicing, and it is indicated only when the space required is minimum, or in case where the extraction can be avoided, or it can be done in the lower anterior as aid in the retention. It is contraindicated in the patient with the high caries index, or it cannot be done in very young patient due to the risk of the pulpal exposure, or if a patient with the sensitivity is there, so it is done by use of metallic abrasive strips or a safe-sided carborundum disc and long thin taper fisher burr. After proximal stripping, fluoride application is done to prevent not more than 50% of the teeth should be sliced, and morphology of the tooth should not be altered. Uprightening of the molar. The premature loss of the deciduous second molar or the extraction of the second premolar can cause the mesial tipping of the first permanent molar, and this mesially tipped molar occupy more space than the upright molar. So uprightening can be done using uprightening spring, or and by uprightening the molar, some amount of the space should be regained. Now, derotation of the posterior teeth which are rotated, that occupy more space, and derotation of the teeth can result in the amount of the space, some amount of the space regain. And derotation of teeth is best achieved by the fixed appliances with the spring or the elastic. Now, the extraction, that is one of the most common method of space gaining. and extraction of the first premolar from a quadrant provide a sufficient space. Then the proclination of the anterior, the proclination of the retruded teeth resulting in a regaining space. It is indicated where teeth are retroclined and in case where the proclination will not affect the soft tissue profile. Now the distalization, which move the molar in the distal direction to gain the space, and the ideal time for distalization is before the eruption of the permanent second molar. And there are two methods for distalization that include extraoral and the intraoral. Then the expansion, which is non-invasive method, and it can be skeletal or the dentoalveolar. And the skeletal expansion involves splitting of the mid-palatine suture, and the dental expansion produce no skeletal changes. It is brought about by various appliances like jack screw or the use of the spring. These are the references. Thank you.